Hey Hawks, I'm going to be reading you a book that I love called This Moose Belongs to Me. It's written by Oliver Jeffers. He's also the author of The Day the Crayons Quit and The Day the Crayons Came Home. Enjoy. Feel free to stop. I will be asking questions throughout. This moose belongs to me. Wilfred owned a moose. He hadn't always owned a moose. The moose came to him a while ago, and he just knew, that it was meant to be his. He named him Marcel. He thought he would call him Marcel. Fantastic name for a moose. He began following Marcel, explaining the rules of how to be a good pet. Rule number 3. What do you think rule number 3 is? Much of the time, it seemed as though the moose wasn't listening, but Wilfred knew he was, mostly because he followed rule number 4 very well. Not making too much noise while Wilfred played his record collection. Sometimes the moose wasn't a very good pet. He generally ignored rule number 7, going whichever way Wilfred wants to go. The moose had a very good sense of direction, and Wilfred did not. And because the moose was particularly poor on Rule 7, subsection B, maintaining a certain proximity to home, Wilfred quickly learned to bring some string along on their outings so he could find his way back again. Sometimes the moose was an excellent pet. He had no trouble with rule number 11, providing shelter from the rain. Or rule 16, knocking down things that are out of Wilfred's reach. Good work. So far, how would you describe Marcel the moose? Think about his actions. One day, as Wilfred discussed their plans for the coming year on a particularly long walk, he made a terrible discovery. Make a prediction about what you think that discovery might be. Someone else thought she owned the moose. Rodrigo, you're back! Wilfred was dumbstruck. This moose was Marcel, not Rodrigo. The old lady was mistaken, and Wilfred thought it only proper that he correct her. "This moose belongs to me," he explained. And to prove it, he called Marcel heel. But the moose did not respond. He seemed more interested in the old lady. Good Rodrigo. I wonder how Wilfred is feeling right now. Fine! Embarrassed and enraged, Wilfred rushed off for home. But in his haste and miles from anywhere, he tripped over his string and got tangled up. Uh-oh. I wonder how he's going to solve his problem. And he lay there. Wilfred was beginning to get a little worried. Sorry, there's a glare. Wilfred was beginning to get a little worried. It was getting late, and the monsters would soon be out. I bet his parents are wondering where he is as well. He had just ruled out the last of his options. No problem, thanks. Looks like a hammerhead shark rescuing him. Getting struck by lightning. When along came the moose. Doo-doo-doo. And performed Rule 73 brilliantly, rescuing your owner from perilous situations. What is a perilous situation? What does that mean? I love that he still has his little name tag on, Marcel. All was forgiven, and perhaps Wilfred admitted he never really owned the moose anyway. Notice his name tag's ripped in half now. With that in mind, he and the moose reached a compromise. The moose would agree to all of Wilfred's rules whenever it suited him. Dominic, you're back, and you brought me an apple. Uh-oh. So, kiddos, I want you to ask yourself, do you think a moose is a good pet or not a good pet? And come up with some reasons from the text why you think that. Have a great day. Bye.